Eyed Children has never been in daylight. It's always been after sunset, and it's always, a lot of the times the weather was bad, cold or rainy or windy. But it makes me wonder, are they tied into vampires?
Yeah.
Could be.
And even in the old vampire movies, they call them demons. So there's a connection there, and I do think that they try to lull you in to drop your guard by mimicking kids and all these other things. But any common sense, I know one thing. If I asked for a ride from somebody, even back in my day, that would have been in trouble. They would rather me be way late coming home than to get a ride with somebody. But then offer them money and for a cab and they don't take it. These are red flags. And if you got one on each side of your door and they're tapping on your door demanding that you open your car door or your house door, don't do it. You don't do it. By you accepting and letting them in, you're inadvertently inviting them into a lot of other things in your life, and that could set up a lot of turmoil. And I think if there has been people accepting them in, we might not hear about them because maybe they're not here with us today.
Yeah, like they're gone.
That's possible. But it's this to me. This has just been like just a lot of interesting stories. Like, and I remember hearing about them like right around late '90s, early 2000s, and I just got into it. And then you start hearing story after story after story after story, and then I mean. Now you get like I was saying earlier, I kind of like to find the stories with the names, the dates, and the locations, and those are almost impossible to find. Like you'll find like the stories here that say like, well, this guy's seen this here and that there, and I kind of like look at those stories and just like, okay, it's interesting read, but I really don't want to like add this in. I just want to get some data and try to see if there is a there. But lots of stories.
There is. Now, hey, right? I mean, our time. Yeah, Kelly, I'm getting old here. Kelly, our time is virtually up. Now, is there a way people can get a hold of you or tell you stories or, reports or anything? Search me out on Facebook. That's pretty much all I've got going on right now. Well, if you got a story on Black Eyed Children, get a hold of Kelly Eyer on Facebook. Look for, his location in Florida. That'll narrow it down. And a picture of him on a motorcycle will make a big, then you got the right person. Well, Kelly, I want to thank you for coming on the show tonight.
Thank you for having me.
And I want you to have a great weekend coming up.
Oh, you do the same, Gary.
Okay.
I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Tell all the other truckers to listen too. Okay, my friend. Take care.
Will do.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye. So anyway, moving right along here, James, it makes me wonder, a lot of these, is it folklore or is it real? Black Eyed Children. Because, again, you go through a cycle where there's a whole bunch of reports, then they kind of dry up. Now, you did manage to find a few here, which kind of, surprised me myself. But, I mean, even when I researched it, I found it was not anything really current. It was all stuff back a few years ago or 10, 15 years ago. It seems like it dried up. Now, could it have been just rumors that, how the old thing is, you're driving down the road, you see a girl in wearing old style clothes, you pick her up, she gets in the cab of the truck, and then, you're talking to her, and then you take your eyes off for a second, and bam, she's gone. Are these fable, or are these black-eyed children real? Are they even children? Are they maybe just dirty, evil demons?
Yeah, these are good questions, and I even got some more reports. Even some of them come from our buddy Lon, but you bring a good point. Now, one theory is that the human consciousness can create these things, like the Slender Man and the Black Eyed Kids, and there was a couple other things I can't think what they call them now. But the human consciousness made these up, and as a total, it's kind of like brought it to reality. But I don't know. I can't say they're real or not. I've never come across them. Now, again, my friend has come across them when he was 18, going to college at a rest stop in Nevada, and it freaked him out really bad. And he even wrote an article about it. But I don't know. I do know that it has negative overtones. If I do strongly suggest you see anything with all black eyes, that just red flag should pop up and go the other direction.
Well, I sure wouldn't want to invite one in my house. I don't care how cold it is. Or, if they're walking on the side of the road. Again, all these sightings have always been, have you noticed that, at nighttime?
Yes. And, another strong piece of advice, if you got them at your door or your car, just tell them, hey, stay right there. I'm going to call the police. We're going to get you help. And don't offer them the phone. You do the calling. Keep them in your sight. Keep your doors locked. Keep them on the other side of the door, and call the police and get them help. If they take off running or they disappear, well, then you know what? And you're still alive, and that's what counts.
Well, that's the thing too. Is that there's been cases where they have come up to people's doors. There was a place in Iowa, for example. Kind of on a cul-de-sac. Again, the Black Eyed Children came to the door. They wanted to. They were supposedly lost, and they wanted to use the phone. This is at nighttime, late. They're young little kids. Why would they be out there lost late at night? Again, out in the middle of nowhere. Doesn't make sense. So something was up, and when the guy said, and his wife said, no, you can't use the phone, boom, they vanished. And then they went out and tried to find the kids, and there was it was a cul-de-sac. And then out there, it was that farmland, and it was no kids to be found. So
right, that was kind of similar to the story I reported, that first one I reported tonight, where the lady or the guy was going to work, and there was one on each side. The woman had the tank top and the little kid on each side of the door, and he looked down, or they looked down to get their charger, looked back up, and they're gone. Now, they're in a parking lot, empty parking lot, and they would have seen them, the backside of them somewhere within a second leaving. Not there. He went around the building that he worked in. It even went up the block where they said they lived. Not a sight of them anywhere. They just, like you said, poof, gone.
Yeah, there's been other sightings, like, again, the guy at the mall, was shopping late. He wanted to get a gift for somebody, and he went in there just before it closed. It was raining really heavy. It was cold. So the mall near closing time was pretty empty. And when he went back to the car, all of a sudden, poof, there's a boy and a little girl, asking to come in. They're cold, and they need to get home, and they're lost, and they need help. And the guy, when he refused to let him in, they were even banging on his car, if I remember right. And then he looked again, and then they were gone. I mean, how could you, if you're in a major a huge parking lot of the mall? I'm not talking a strip mall. I'm talking a mall. You would certainly see people walking away from the car. In this case, they were gone. So what happened to them?
Yeah, I know. Now, what's the options here? Are they interdimensional? Are they real vampires that have the power to just disappear? Are they aliens? There's a whole plethora of things this could be. We don't know it. Or are they just a manifestation of the human consciousness? I don't know what they are.
If they're a man of our consciousness, let's face it, then the UFOs are, and then Mothman is, and everything else is, and maybe your neighbor down the street doesn't exist because you just think there's like a house down the street. I think there's something to it. Now, if you watch all these old horror movies, which I'm an addict to it, okay, I every weekend I glue myself to it. Even in my studio, I'm sitting there watching it on the big screen while I'm booking people. I'll tell you one thing. Vampires. Have you ever noticed when they get ready, they see a prey? Besides their fangs that come out, what do their eyes do?
Yep. They get all black. Very good. Yeah, absolutely. It's almost like they're a cross between the Village of the Damned Kids and vampires or Lost Boys. And
Maybe.
You're right. They when they get ready to pounce, their eyes get black and they're ready.
Well, maybe they are vampires. As simple as that. If you think about it, they only seem to be reported when it's dark, after dark.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Their eyes,
and
their eyes are black.
Yeah, and one of the very first reports I can remember was from I think he was an accountant and he was from Texas, and I think it was in late '90s maybe or whatever. But it was the same kind of thing. It was it was just after dark, 2 or 3 kids on each side of the door. That's another thing. They kind of get on two different ends of it to kind of distract you. If you notice that in a lot of the stories I've read, if there's 2 or 3 of them, they kind of like get on each side of the car or they separate. It's all like animals of prey, what they do.
Well, maybe they're vampires in training.
That could be too.
Little kids of offsprings of vampires. So they're going out, for their first kill.
Right, or they could be something pure evil, and it's mimicking kids. I've seen things mimic kids. That's why every time I see something paranormal, it's kid related. My red flags are they jump right up.
Well, how about the case I had a guest on about 2 years or 3 years ago, actually? Yeah, it was when I first started back up. It claimed even these demons imitate, people that are like in retirement homes, little old lady, the lovable little nice lady down the street. It gives candy and apples to the kids for Halloween. That there could be demons just as much as these little kids. To think about that.
Absolutely. Listen, I have seen these cases. I've seen them mimic little girls. I've seen them mimic other family members. I've seen them mimic their pets, their children. They'll do anything to get you to drop your guard, and then that's when they pounce, and they pounce hard, and that stuff's no joke. I've seen this stuff for real. So I know, at least in my world, I know it goes on. Now, Black Eyed Kids, I don't know. Maybe they're related to all this. Again, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, if you have ever encountered, especially you guys out there in the trucks, anything strange like black-eyed children, or anything you think it should be discussed on the show, please get a hold of me at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com. That's nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com. I like to hear about some of the stories, some of the, even if it's a good story, that when you're out driving at a truck stop or a cafe, have you ever been approached by something like a black-eyed child or children or anything like that? I really would like to hear your feedback on that.
Yeah, I would too. Definitely. I think there needs to be a lot more researching data collected on that stuff. For sure, I would love to see some more reports on it.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? This time has just gone by. This week has been like the fastest week I've ever experienced in my in my entire life.
It has been a fast week, and you even had a birthday in there along the way. Jeez.
Oh, yeah, and Christmas and all that stuff.
Yeah, the last 2-3 weeks have been pretty busy or fast, and all kind of things happening. Christmas and New Year's and birthdays, and you got 2 dogs, horses, I should say, running around.
Well, actually, we got 2 horses, too, but I tell you what, I'm scared to death these dogs are going to be big as these mini horses at this rate. Have you ever seen how small mini horses are? These dogs, it seems like every time I see them, they grow an inch. Anyway, well, till Monday, and we're going to be talking about UFOs and aliens on Monday. Again, tell your friends about Night Dreams Talk Radio. Get onto our website, www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. Hey, maybe donate $1 or $2 to help pay for our bandwidth. If you donate $20, I'll send you a brand new book. It could be anything on, cryptids, black-eyed children, UFOs. But I'll send the book to you at no cost for shipping or anything. This as a thank you for your donation. Well, till Monday. Well, James, you can say it. Good night, America.
Good night, America. Everybody have a great weekend. We will see you Monday night.
Everybody, take care.